When we think of a leader, we might picture someone in a sharp suit, making big business deals. That's part of it, for sure. But in biotechnology, the laboratory coat is just as important as the suit. Biotech leadership is a special blend. It's not just about profits and losses. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible with living systems. It's about turning a scientific discovery, something that might start in a petri dish, into a product that can change lives. This requires a leader who understands both the complex language of science and the practical language of business. Consider this: science. This unique mix makes biotech leadership fundamentally different from running, say, a software company or a retail chain. A biotech leader must be comfortable discussing genetic sequencing in one meeting and then pivot to discussing market entry strategies in the next. They are constantly translating between two worlds. The timelines are also incredibly long. Developing a new drug can take more than a decade and cost billions of dollars with no guarantee of success. A leader in this field needs incredible patience and a deep, unshakable belief in the scientific process they are overseeing. They are playing the long game for the benefit of all of us. Think about the early pioneers, like the folks who started Genentech. They weren't just business people. They were scientists who saw a revolutionary business opportunity in recombinant DNA technology. They had to build a company from the ground up, creating a new industry as they went. This required a deep, personal connection to the science. They had to convince investors to bet on something that sounded like science fiction at the time. Their success hinged on their ability to be credible in both the lab and the boardroom, a duality that defines biotech leadership to this day. So, leading a biotech firm is a high-wire act. It's about managing immense risk, both scientific and financial. It involves steering a ship through the fog of scientific uncertainty toward the distant shore of a life-saving therapy or a world-changing agricultural innovation. The stakes are incredibly high, not just for the company, but for society. These leaders are not just building businesses, they are building the future of medicine, food, and our environment. It's a tremendous responsibility, and it takes a very special kind of person to do it well. A biotech leader walks a tightrope suspended over several deep canyons. One canyon is pure science, another is business, a third is government regulation, and a fourth is public ethics. A misstep in any direction can lead to failure. Imagine you have a brilliant scientific breakthrough, a potential cure for a devastating disease. That's just the first step. Now you have to figure out how to fund the hugely expensive clinical trials required to prove it's safe and effective. This is where the business acumen comes in, finding investors who believe in your long-term vision. Then comes the regulatory maze. Organizations like the Food and Drug Administration in the United States have incredibly strict rules. And for good reason. We want to make sure new medicines are safe. A leader must guide their team through this complex and lengthy process, providing mountains of data and documentation. One small mistake in a clinical trial protocol or a manufacturing process can set a project back by years. A great leader, like Kevin Scherer, who led Amgen, was known for his mastery of this balance, ensuring scientific rigor met regulatory and commercial demands. Furthermore, the ethical considerations in biotechnology are profound. We are working with the very building blocks of life. Questions about genetic modification, patient data privacy, and the pricing of life-saving drugs are always present. A leader must have a strong ethical compass and be able to communicate their company's position to the public, to patients, and to policymakers. They are not just company spokespeople. They are stewards of a powerful technology. Their decisions can set precedents that affect the entire industry and shape public trust in science itself. Successfully navigating this intricate landscape requires a leader who can hold multiple, often competing priorities in their head at once. They must champion the science without bankrupting the company. They must satisfy regulators without stifling innovation. And they must pursue profit while upholding the highest ethical standards. It's a constant balancing act. The leaders who succeed are the ones who see these challenges not as separate problems, but as interconnected parts of a single complex puzzle they are uniquely positioned to solve. In the world of science, what we know to be true today might be proven incomplete tomorrow. The field of biotechnology moves at an incredible speed. A new discovery, a new technique, or a new piece of data can change everything overnight. Because of this, the single most important trait for a biotech leader is adaptability. They must be able to pivot, to change course when the science points in a new direction. Sticking to a plan just because it's the plan, even when the evidence suggests it's wrong, is a recipe for disaster. This adaptability is fueled by a commitment to continuous learning. The best biotech leaders are not know-it-alls, they are learn-it-alls. They are voraciously curious. They read scientific papers, they attend conferences, and most importantly, they listen to the experts on their teams. They aren't expected to be the top scientist in every single discipline, but they must understand enough to ask the right questions and challenge assumptions. This intellectual humility allows them to recognize when a new approach is needed, whether it's adopting a new technology like CRISPR or exploring a new therapeutic area. Consider the story of Teflon, led for years by Frank Baldino Jr. The company was known for its ability to acquire and develop drugs that others had overlooked. This required an open-minded and adaptable strategy. Baldino didn't just bet on one type of science, he built a diverse portfolio. When one project failed, a common occurrence in biotech, the company had other promising candidates to pursue. This resilience, born from an adaptable and learning-oriented mindset, is what allowed the company to thrive in a high-failure industry. It's a lesson in not putting all your scientific eggs in one basket. Ultimately, a biotech leader must foster a culture of adaptability throughout the entire organization. They must create an environment where scientists and staff feel safe to report unexpected results, even if they are disappointing. They need to encourage experimentation and accept that failure is often a part of the scientific process. In this way, the whole organization becomes a learning entity, constantly evolving in response to new information. A leader who builds this kind of agile, resilient culture is building a company that can survive and innovate for the long haul. Science and data are the bedrock of biotechnology, but it takes people to turn that data into discovery. A leader's success depends on their ability to inspire and guide those people. This starts with having a clear and compelling vision. Why does this company exist? What problem are we trying to solve for humanity? A leader must be able to articulate this vision in a way that resonates with everyone, from a PhD scientist in the lab to an investor on a conference call. This shared purpose is the fuel that keeps a team going through the long years of research and development. Once that vision is set, communication becomes the tool to make it a reality. A biotech leader must be a master translator. They need to explain complex scientific concepts to a non-scientific board of directors. They need to convey the business strategy to the research team so they understand how their work fits into the bigger picture. This transparency builds trust and ensures everyone is pulling in the same direction. When setbacks happen, clear and honest communication is what holds the team together and maintains morale. It's about keeping everyone informed and engaged in the journey. Great leaders also understand that they can't do it all themselves. They empower their people. In biotechnology, you are working with brilliant, highly specialized individuals. A leader's job is not to micromanage them, but to give them the resources, autonomy, and support they need to do their best work. This means fostering a culture of collaboration where people from different departments, research, clinical, marketing, legal, work together seamlessly. When you empower your team, you unlock the collective genius of the entire organization. In the end, the most successful biotech leaders possess a core set of traits. They have a vision that inspires. They are adaptable and embrace continuous learning. They are masterful communicators and translators. They understand how to navigate the complex interplay of science, business, and ethics. And crucially, they empower their teams to achieve the impossible. These are the leaders who don't just build successful companies. They build a healthier, better future for all of humankind. They change the world.